Is a new phase opening up in America's tensed history with Cuba? We ask this because after the removal of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, the Trump administration has now turned its full attention to Cuba, hoping that the communist government is weaker than it has ever been in nearly 70 years, and that it could fall even before this year ends. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, American officials believe that Cuba's economy is on the edge of a collapse, with intelligence assessments describing empty shelves, medicine shortages, and rolling blackouts across the island. And the loss of Venezuelan support appears to have made the situation even worse, because for 2 decades, subsidized oil from Caracas kept Cuba's power plants running and its economy alive. And that lifeline is now under serious threat after the removal of Maduro. In fact, Trump has recently tightened the pressure on Havana. In a recent social media post, the president warned that no more oil or money would reach Cuba and urged its leaders to strike a deal before time runs out. Behind the scenes, American officials have met with Cuban exiles and civic groups, searching for someone inside the government willing to negotiate a potential deal. And according to the Wall Street Journal report, Washington is now moving on multiple fronts. It plans to cut off remaining oil shipments that keep Cuba's lights on, a step that economists say could shut down the economy within weeks. The administration is also targeting Cuba's overseas medical missions, a major source of foreign cash, by imposing visa bans on officials linked to the program. For Trump and several close advisors, remember, removing Cuba's communist leadership has reportedly become a central goal of his national security strategy in the region. But remember, this would not be the first time that the U.S. has attempted to topple the government in Cuba. The Cuban regime survived the 1961 CIA-backed Bay of Pigs invasion, decades of embargoes, and repeated attempts to isolate it. And even now, the path is not so straightforward, because unlike Venezuela, Cuba has a very different political model. The country bans opposition parties, restricts civil society, and tightly controls dissent. So simply replacing leaders with others will not be a guaranteed solution. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel denies any negotiations with Washington, saying only technical talks on migration continue. Last week, Havana had convened a key national defense committee to review readiness for war, a sign that the government is preparing for the worst. As pressure mounts and supplies dwindle, the questions arising are simple. Will Cuba's leaders cut a deal with the U.S.? Will they brace for another American confrontation, one that could reshape the Caribbean, or meet the same fate as the ones attempted before?